Hello, my name is Annika Maniram, and my topic is the impacts of drought on the rural communities of Msinga in Kwa-Zulu Natal, South Africa. Drought is a period of below average precipitation which results in drier than normal conditions. The changing climate of recent years will lead to an increase in the frequency, severity, and pervasiveness of drought. There are four different kinds of droughts, which are permanent, seasonal, unpredictable, and invisible. And the different categories are meteorological, hydrological, agricultural, and socio-economic. According to the World Health Organization, 1.5 million people have been directly impacted by drought this century, whilst every year an estimated 55 million people are affected each year. The objectives for the study is to assess the perceptions regarding the socioeconomic impacts of drought, to investigate the adaptation and mitigation strategies that rural communities of Msinga adopt during periods of drought, and to examine the perceived seriousness and frequency of droughts. The study is also significant as it provides an insight in the impacts of drought within the rural communities of Msinga. Drought has subjected the Msinga region to high rates of soil erosion, low carrying capacity, and water shortages. Droughts occur at a slow rate, which makes it difficult to quantify and detect, thus resulting in socio-economic and environmental impacts. GIS helps disaster managers assess drought impacts via hazard mapping, vulnerability analysis, damage assessment, and recovery planning. Results and discussion. Figure 1 shows the frequency of droughts over the last 10 years. Since the 1970s, there has been a drying trend around the world, with an increase in drought frequency as a result of climate change. It is also noticed that the frequency of drought has increased from every 10 years to every 5 years, with Msinga's frequency increasing in intervals of 2 years. Figure 2 shows the severity of drought within Msinga, and this was measured by small-scale farmers through seasonal farm employment, loss of livestock, increase in diseases, and threatened livelihoods and mass migration. The seriousness of drought is also measured by how people perceive it and how they are affected by it. Figure 3 shows the socioeconomic impacts of drought, which were integrated, analyzed, and visualized using GIS. Drought affects the failure of crops since majority of South Africa is rain-fed. Increased levels of poverty and unemployment as a result of drought and poor productivity affects Msinga through the loss of livelihoods. Drought, food shortages, and increased food prices have resulted in limited food choices and food insecurity. Decreased water supplies and droughts have also increased malnutrition levels. And figure 4 shows the adaptative strategies for drought, which include selling of livestock, rural-urban migration, cutting down of food intake, planting drought-resistant crops, and indigenous knowledge practices. A result from this table shows if the communities received agricultural training in the last 3 years. So it is important for subsistence farmers and rural communities to receive agricultural training, as they often live in environments that are dominated by unpredictable weather, pests and diseases, fluctuating prices, and lack of education and food insecurity. Did they receive assistance from the government during times of drought? So in order to address the issues of drought in South African agricultural industry, the government has over the past decade implemented several drought relief programs as part of a national effort to support affected farmers. However, the Msinga municipality has received very little resources. Are there any active drought management programs in the community? The drought management programs that were implemented in Msinga were developed by NGOs and not the government. It is discovered that there was poor management from the government to deal with the drought and its impacts. Did they receive any drought early warning systems? It is established that reliable and timely early warning systems is a critical component of drought planning, as it supports the farmer's decision making. In conclusion, we looked at the theoretical frameworks which included the drought perception theory. This included the drought experience, drought definition, drought expectation, and drought memory. We also looked at the sustainable livelihoods approach, which states that poor individuals have the important skills, knowledge, and ability to create a livelihoods approach to alleviate poverty. The recommendations for the study was women empowerment, environmental education, sustainable agricultural practices, and governmental involvement. Thank you.